Divorce. How to survive a breakup without losing your mind. Thank you. Thanks to my ex-husband for what he gave me. Over 8 years of marriage, it looks more like the plot of a comedy series than a normal human relationship. For the opportunity to work up a sweat so that our children do not need anything, not even child support, which he refused to pay, falsifying income documents. For the sixth sense that I learned to trust after the divorce, for the fact that he gave me enough healthy aggression so that I could tear off my butt and begin to realize myself in creativity. For all 4 directions where I was told to go after the divorce. For the 3 cherished words, I love you, that he spoke to me while he was dating my friend. For 2 wonderful sons. For 1 good mother-in-law. Thanks for my father-in-law too, but he did not support me during the divorce as much as my mother-in-law. For 0 regrets about divorce. Thanks for all. That's it. That's it. And now, more details. The only way to stop divorces is to stop registering marriages, wrote the English poet Samuel Rogers. It's hard to argue with his sarcastic view of family life. This story is about how one 34-year-old woman, tired of everyday problems, went to court and demanded a divorce. This is a story about how she then tried to arrange her life and the lives of her 2 children, about how this woman went through a divorce for 7 long years, as best she could, but she couldn't do it at all. This woman is me.
Gave it as a gift, like an unnecessary t-shirt. It's a little humiliating, you'll agree. Okay, Meg is not a goddess. Meg is just the eldest daughter of the Theban king Creon, who, in gratitude for Hercules' help in the war with the Archimedes, gave her as his hero wife. Apparently, money had not yet been invented in Greece, and women were used instead of money. Probably, back then, there was such an advertisement. Mortgage at 12% per annum, down payment, 2 women. But these are their problems, and we are not talking about a mortgage, but about divorce. Although after a divorce, a mortgage often comes up. And now about the goddesses. What will you say when you find out about Aphrodite's divorce? Yes, poor Aphrodite experienced not just a divorce, but a real shame. Her naked, indulging in lovemaking with Saurus, the god of war, by the way, whoever gave it to him, was caught by her husband, Hephaestus. Hephaestus, of course, bore the title of the god of fire, but in bed, he was obviously not fire. It seemed to the deceived Hephaestus that Aphrodite had not drunk enough shame, so he called all the gods and goddesses to admire the rare sight, naked lovers on the family bed. The gods, of course, had nothing to do. They came, looked, and harshly condemned Aphrodite. They're also sexist to me. Nobody condemned Ares. And Hephaestus, full of offended feelings, demanded that the money paid for the bride at the wedding be returned to him. Oh no, look, after all, money was already invented then. And he demanded that Zeus destroy the lovers. Zeus spontaneously asked Aphrodite and Ares to leave Olympus, which they did the next day. Aphrodite, all sad, returned to Cyprus. Author of This Woman Is Me, a millionaire blogger, the sexiest woman, and many other most things. But at the same time, from time to time, the shameful stigma of divorce with a trailer is easily attached to me. Even with 2 trailers. I don't really like the media at all. Over the years, I've been called the throwaway of the whole stand-up scene, and a middle-aged divorcee, and even, as some fashionable blogger dubbed me, the underdog. So title. Nedotrashka sounds like the name of Gina's crocodile friend. If this same friend was found not in a box with oranges, for example, but in a box with slings. Yes, I went through a not very pleasant divorce. I experienced it for a long time, and incorrectly. did all the mistakes an angry woman makes after a divorce. I cursed my ex. I went to a witch, to church, and to personal training. I manipulated children, I confess. I know that this is impossible. But if I were again, God forbid, at that point of no return, I would most likely make all the same mistakes, but I would spend not 7 years on them, but 6 months. This book is exactly about how to experience divorce and how not to, because that's how I experienced it at first.
If you are currently in the process of a divorce, or the divorce has already died down, and you are like a shell-shocked person with ringing in your ears, walking from corner to corner, and not only cannot understand how to continue to live, but you cannot remember how to breathe. If you are overcome by panic attacks, if it seems that the whole world is pointing a finger at you and saying, "Here she comes, a disgrace. She has no family left. Who needs her now? Such a used, discarded woman." If it seems to you that your mutual friends are talking to you in order to later inform your ex-husband that Natalie, of course, has sunk to the very bottom, the divorce has finished her off, then this book is for you. This book is not only for officially divorced women like me, but also for women who are experiencing betrayal and a painful separation from their man. Even if you lived with him for only a year, but during this time, he managed to put noodles in your ears about how you will meet old age together, hand in hand, looking at the ocean. If you managed to come up with a whole life with this person and mentally give birth, he has 3 children. If you loved a person and he betrayed you, and you don't know how to live on, then this book is for you. Natasha, don't compare. Your divorce was funny, and you went through it cheerfully, but some women simply find themselves in emotional hell. I recently heard from one of my friends. I dare to disagree, because it all depends on the storyteller. I can tell the story of my divorce, and in general, to be honest, of any divorce, in several ways, like melodrama, or in the style of the Criminal Russia program, in comic, and many other genres. And every time you will see me in a new light, somewhere you will empathize with me, somewhere you will hate me, somewhere you will simply laugh at me. So that you understand, I am writing the same moment in my life when my husband left me, in 2 styles. Melodrama. I live with you out of pity. Who needs you with 2 children? He finally said. There was a ringing silence in the kitchen. In this silence, I heard how the refrigerator, borrowed in installments with my mother's money, was working, and how our children were assembling Legos in the bedroom. It was as if a capsule of resentment had exploded inside me. It spread like a poisonous liquid through all my veins until it finally rolled up to my throat, squeezing it with a cold, sticky hand. I tried to say something. I wanted to choose something meaningful, but my brain didn't work at all. This is humiliating for a woman. Better go away, I finally whispered in a choked voice, and my husband left. He left, and I continued to sit in the kitchen, trying to understand at what moment great love turned into a great disaster. The same moment, but in the comedy genre. I live with you out of pity. Who needs you with 2 children? He finally said. You're a pitiful bastard. You just warmed up an orphan. Thank you, Dobrina Nikitich, I thought wryly. I remembered how we had sex with him the day before. Well, probably also out of pity. Look what kind of trachomechanate was found. My inner voice gave me an answer option. Do you want to see who needs me? Vacate your living space.
my external voice answered. They and my inner voice often did not coincide in text. My husband snorted contemptuously and, in the style of Peter the Great, strode into the hallway to put on his shoes in order to run off into the sunset. The time was late. The sun's disk had almost slipped below the horizon. We had to hurry to show off against its background. The husband put his foot into the sneaker, but missed. "Oh, at least now you'll beat me the first time," my inner voice carefully threw into the memories of yesterday's sex.